friends! Today we decided to go on a walk on our property where we're renting, and we wanted to come on and give you a few updates of what has been happening in our lives. So come on with us and we'll show you a little bit around the property here.
So as we've told you before, we're renting a home on 7 acres temporarily while we find the right opportunity to buy land and build a home again. And so this is just a brief look at the place, and we've been enjoying being here for about close to a month now.
Yes, and you can see it behind me, and on the other side is the house of the owner that is still being built.
Right, so on this 7 acres there are 2 homes. However, we're the only ones who are living here. We're renting what they call the guest house, and the primary home is being built to be inhabited at some later date. However, for the foreseeable future, we'll be the only ones here, and so it's a nice environment for us.
Yes, maybe we'll show you a little bit of the view that we have every day. Turning this way, we have ocean, which is so nice to see every day.
Yeah.
And we get lots of rainbows here too.
It's mid-November now, and pretty soon, any week now, is going to be whale migration season. And so they tell us that right over here we'll be able to hear and even see the whales when they come. They're here for a few months. So on this side of the property over here, there's a stream that borders the property line. And the same thing on that side, on the other edge of the property line, there's another stream. And these 2 streams actually go right off the ocean cliff there into the ocean, and they're pretty beautiful waterfalls. One of the really nice things about this coastline is that there is an abundance of water. There's a lot of streams, and so we're really enjoying having streams on the property. There's waterfalls all around, waterfalls there all along the coastline. And here's one of the small orchards that the landowners have put in place, and we're trying to get it back in shape. The property was pretty much overgrown when we came, and so we've been working to try to help them just get it back under control.
Here we have Sky and Caden, our kids, and they wanted to show us a few fruits that we grow here.
This one I think is a lemon.
Wow, that is a nice lemon. And there's several in there. Can we find some tangerines?
This one I think is a calamandan lime. It's here.
This one is a calamandan lime.
Tangerine. Yep. Calamandan lime. This looks like tangerine. Yep.
Oh, Caden found tangerines. And we have tried them, and they're pretty nice and sweet. And this tiny tree has so many of them. That's amazing.
So this orchard here is primarily citrus, though at this elevation in Hawaii, there's not much that can't be grown. You know, we were growing on our previous homestead, we were growing at least 80 varieties of fruit and nuts. And so really the sky is the limit. Below 1,000 feet above sea level, you can grow the greatest variety. Ultra-tropicals, especially below 500 feet elevation. And so this property here, we're somewhere around 300 feet. So despite the fact that we're not especially prepared for the occasion, we're looking for property pretty much every day. Every day we get, we've signed up for listings of land to be delivered to our email inbox, and so we're reviewing those each day, as well as going and exploring areas, looking and learning about all the different land options that are available. In general, with the listings of land that's on the market today, their prices are pretty much out of reach considering our recent losses. And so we've been praying and thinking about what we might be able to do in spite of this financial setback. So one of the ideas that we had was to write letters to property owners that have land in an area that would be suitable for us to start over again. Along this coastline, there's a limited amount of property that is really truly suitable to do the kind of homestead that we intend on creating. To grow the widest variety of fruits and vegetables requires a specific elevation, as I mentioned, various other environmental factors. So pretty much all of what is currently available is either out of our price range or doesn't meet the criteria for what we need. And so we've taken to writing property owners and asked them if they would be interested to sell. So this is an idea that may be helpful to some of you, and that is writing property owners in an area that you feel that you'd like to settle in. In our case, what we've done is we have spent the time traveling to areas, examining them as best we could on foot without trespassing on private land. Also, we've enlisted the help of our drone to fly over areas to kind of survey, determine which areas are vacant land. Then we go on the property tax website. In our case, that would be hawaiipropertytax.com, and there we can get an assessment of which lots have been owned for decades, that there's no development on these lands. At that point, we can actually even see what did the owners pay for those lots, how many years have they had those lots, find their mailing address, etc. So in our case, we've written these owners and we've explained that we're starting over in light of recent disasters and asked if they'd be interested to sell their property to us. So we used this same basic method about 9 years ago when we were purchasing our first country land. At that time, we wrote only one family, and they owned a piece of land that we were interested to purchase. It actually was on the market for sale, but we realized that we couldn't afford the asking price. We had just moved here a few months before, just graduated college, and we knew that God was leading us here, but we didn't have the resources, but we didn't want to let that stop us. So we wrote that family and we told them about ourselves and what we were doing here, what we envisioned for the land, and that they would be receiving an offer from us in the near future. So about a week later, we did submit an offer through a real estate agent, and that offer was, as I've mentioned before, 37% of the original asking price. And as low as it was, we trusted that God could make up the difference and could grant us success if He wanted to. So we prayed, we fasted, we waited, and a short time later we got the word back from those owners that they accepted our offer. In addition, we learned from the real estate agent that they had rejected a full price offer just a short time previously, and that was because there was a stipulation of seller financing. We also asked for seller financing, but with a greatly reduced offer, and they accepted. So it does seem that, number one, God and His Holy Spirit working on our behalf can make all the difference. And number two, sharing with people your personal story in writing when you're trying to negotiate real estate can sometimes be helpful. And so in our recent situation here, we're doing that again, but what we did is we identified 29 parcels of land over about a 10-mile part of the coastline that we wrote to those 29 individuals and share with them our story of our home, our recent loss, and trying to get started again. And so we sent those letters out on Monday, and on Wednesday we got our first call, and it was a call from a property owner who was a very nice gentleman. He talked to me for about 40 minutes, and he basically said that the parcels that I inquired about, he really wanted to retain those parcels, but that he was sort of moved by our story and that he would like some time to think about it, but he would do his best to try to figure out in the coming week or two if there were other parcels around that meet our criteria that maybe he or his friends own that he could help us with. And so it's been about a week since that time. We've spoken with him a total of 2 times, and we anticipate hearing from him again. But that was a real blessing. So in addition, we got a total of 4 responses from our 29 letters at this point, which is about a week and a half after mailing. One of the 4 responses was the one I just recounted, and the second one was an individual who just wanted to leave us a voicemail and kindly let us know that they plan to retain their lots in the family, but they wished us well. We received another 2 emails from individuals who appeared to be interested to discuss selling their property. One from a lady in Olympia, Washington, who owned 11 acres of beautiful land, and she was the most upfront in stating, yes, I'm interested in speaking with you about purchasing my land. We did hear from another couple who had a lot, but and they at first seemed interested, but when we asked them what price that they would be interested to sell their land for, we haven't heard back from them yet in about 6 days now. So perhaps they're just thinking, perhaps we'll hear back from them. But we started a dialogue with this individual in Olympia, Washington, about her 11 acres here. We went and got permission to visit the property. We walked it, we looked it over, and it really met all of our criteria of what we were looking for. So we've had some good dialogue over the last few days, and right now where we're at is she's trying to assess an asking price, and so we're in a state where we don't know which way it's going to go, but we're actively working on the potential of purchasing this property. We fully realize that this may not be the place for us. It largely depends on, is God going to open a door with the purchase price? So at this time, we would especially appreciate any prayers that you send our way as we're actively negotiating on this particular property, and or perhaps more properties by the time that you watch this video. A few of the things that we were looking for that this property had to offer was we were looking for property preferably below 500 feet elevation, and this would make a big difference for us in what we could or could not grow on the land. We happen to like to grow an incredible variety of tropical fruits, nuts, vegetables, and that ultra-tropical climate closer to sea level makes that possible. And in addition to that, you have more sunshine the closer you get to the ocean. As you climb the sides of the island, you're going to get more cloud cover, more rain, and there's an abundance of that here. But even at the coastline in this area, we're getting about 140 inches of rain a year. But as you start climbing the hillside, you could get 200, 220, and that's just too much for a lot of crops to handle. Water is something that we'd appreciate. At lower elevations, you can put in a water well. You can also have streams on the land, which this property has a stream. We appreciate properties that are in the 10-acre range because of the additional privacy that we could have from our neighbors. One particular side of this property was a cliff of sorts down into a river basin below, and so that provides a lot of privacy. It had beautiful road access, which came right to the property, paved road. Much of that pavement is just on private property, on the property itself. And so it has a very long driveway for privacy. What were some of the other things that we appreciated? Beautiful trade wind access, and also ocean views and mountain views. So those were some of the things that we appreciated. Some of them were must-haves on our list, and some of them were just luxuries, bonus items that would be a blessing to our family.
So as you heard, those are a few of the things that were happening with us lately, and I just wanted to mention how much we appreciate your comments and your prayers. It really means a lot to us, so please keep the prayers coming and the comments. If you have any questions for us, write them in the comments below and we'll be happy to answer.
Also, I'd like to just take a moment and just sincerely thank those of you who have found our GoFundMe page, who have read our story, who have contributed to
Yes.
help us get our start. That's really going to make a difference for us, and we are very grateful for all your support.
Very much. Thank you. So now we'll just show you a few more trees, another orchard here, and maybe a little bit of aerial footage of the property.
Yeah, so this orchard here that we're in at the moment, it's another young orchard. It's a little more diverse. We've got longan, lychee, mango, and some avocado here.
This looks like a mango, no?
Yep, that's a mango. All these trees are grafted. Grafted is really the way to go if you have a choice, because they're going to be true to the parent tree, and they're going to bear fruit more abundantly and earlier in an age than they would if they were seedling trees.